What's good everyone, Shurit here. So today I'm bringing you guys the top 10 best decks of all time. Now we all know how much I love to dwell in the past and talk about old Yu-Gi-Oh decks and old Yu-Gi-Oh cards, mainly because I'm banned right now and all my favourite decks are from the past that are banned right now. So even like Dragon Rulers, a lot of people hated them, but I love Dragon Rulers. So I thought I might as well make a video like this. We haven't had a normal video like this in a while. We had the Nekroz tutorial a couple days ago, and we had a couple memes, but that was about it. Too many memes aren't good for my ad rev, let's put it like that. Not really care, I don't care too much about the ad rev, but sometimes you got to put them proper videos out to show that the channel's not really all about memes, even though my channel description is the dankest of memes have been born on this channel. Anyways, I'm going to shut up now. So number 5, please don't get triggered why I'm putting these guys at number 5. So we have Zodiac, the famous deck, not infamous anymore, the famous deck that I don't know how many months it went on for, maybe 8 months, around about 8 months. And tier 0 format, we were in a tier 0 format for so long, and everybody hated Zodiac. I was sick and tired of Zodiac. Zodiac are really what made this year kind of boring in Yu-Gi-Oh! In comparison to previous years. So with a Zodiac, the reason that they're so good, even as much as we hate them, we have to acknowledge how good they are. So they had amazing consistency because their plays only required one card, whereas other decks, even Nekroz for that matter, required a few cards to function. Zodiac just needed the one. They needed a barrage. Before Terratop got limited, they needed the Terratop, Tenki even for the normal summon of Rat himself. It was just so easy to get to Rat and pull off Rat combos that Zodiac were amazing. Moreover, you got the fusion sub combo. The fusion sub combo was insane. Just seriously, guys, like that was the worst. We actually had to have an emergency ban list. Some people say it's an emergency ban list, some people say, oh, it was just normal. Where we had Norden ban because of how bad the fusion sub combo was. It's just funny, back in Pepe format, Norden was a driving force in how good the Pepe deck was. It was another card to add in there, make it even better. But Norden didn't get hit until Zodiac started abusing him. So we can see how bad the situation was with the fusion sub combo. Even until the very end, even in the OCG as well, we saw that when Dryden got banned, when Barrage got banned, Rat got limited, Zodiac was still one of the best decks through Zodiac's done. It was really Zodiac Broad Ball that made the deck so amazing, being able to search multiple times. The fact that Broad Ball wasn't once per turn was just absurd, really. The fact that you could like overlay 2 level 4 monsters, summon Broad Ball, put another Zodiac monster on top of Broad Ball, summon another Broad Ball. You've essentially got 2 searches off just 2 level 4 monsters. They just gave you so much more than they were actually worth. You just had a main deck full of tutoring out the extra deck. They could play so many traps because the fusion sub combo would draw them so many cards. I could go on and on about how good Zodiac were, but I think you guys kind of get the point at this rate. Zodiac were an amazing deck. I put them as number 5 because although they were broken, although they were tier 0, we've had not much better decks, but we've had relatively better decks in comparison to Zodiac. So number 4, Spellbooks. Now, I don't have much knowledge on the Spellbook deck. I'm going to put it like that. Back in Spellbook format and Dragon Ruler format, I was kind of like a scrub. I would mess around with Blue Eyes, mix them with Dragon Rulers. I didn't really know how to play the game very well. But with Spellbooks, everybody knows the basics with Spellbooks. Spellbooks, you had Spellbook of Judgment, which was an absurd card that possibly was the card that you could plus off the most, maybe, apart from Rapier. Spellbook of Judgment, it just had the highest ceiling it gives, whereas Dragon Rulers and Spellbooks, they both shared the same format, and Dragon Rulers were the better deck in that format. Spellbooks just had such a high ceiling because of what Spellbook of Judgment can do. It's like you use all your resources, and then in normal decks would be like, okay, I need to use 3-4 cards, I need to like slowly wait this out to regain my resources back. Spellbooks would just like, nah, we're just gonna drop Judgment on the field. I'm gonna search 6 spell cards, I'm gonna search 2 spell cards, I'm gonna special summon Jaugen. Now you can't special summon because I have so much room in my deck and I'm just playing the Spellbook spell cards. I've got traps to play. To be honest, I played against Spellbooks before back in Dragon Ruler format when I was kind of scrub playing, messing around with another deck, and I thought, what on earth are they doing? This is just absurd how broken this deck was. And obviously when you're a scrub you get salty when you lose, so I was rather salty, but that's their story for another day, let's put it like that. So Spellbooks, another thing is they had amazing searches with Spellbook of Secret. Grand Spellbook Tower was an amazing field spell. The Spellbook Magician of Prophecy, just a normal summon search. Normal summon searches like Stratos's, except that Blue Boy was for Spellbook spell cards. Just any kind of monster that you can normal summon, instantly get a search, is always going to be a good card. We've seen it with Performer I can't even say Performer Pal now. Performer Pal, Skull Crab Joker, we've seen it with a lot of cards. So Spellbook of Judgment, Spellbooks in general, I put them as the 4th best deck of all time. Right, number 3. Please don't call me biased, Nekroz, right? We're going to put Nekroz as number 3. Now, I'm going to tell you guys the truth here. When it comes to Nekroz and Spellbooks, I think they're pretty even. Nekroz have the Jin lock, Spellbooks have the Jargon lock, Nekroz plus a lot of their resources with like Shurit and everybody else. Nekroz have good recovery with their graveyard spells. Obviously, Spellbooks got... When it comes to recovery, well, Spellbooks are like the best with Judgment, obviously. But overall, because of Nekroz's power with attrition stuff, whereas Spellbooks were kind of like more conservative, control, just outgrind your opponent. Nekroz were kind of like, okay, we're going to outgrind you, but we're going to overpower you as well because we've got Trishula, we've got Decisive Armor. So I'm going to tell you the truth here. We could put Nekroz as 4th and Spellbooks as 3rd, and there wouldn't really be much difference. I personally think Nekroz are better than Spellbooks. It could be because of some bias, I assume. Maybe some of you guys will think Spellbooks are better, but when it comes to Nekroz and Zodiac, I've had this argument with a few people in the comment section. To be honest, I don't see how people can argue that Zodiacs are better than Nekroz. Although yes, Zodiacs are an amazing deck, I'm going to put it like that. They can plus more than Nekroz. A +7 is just absurd. Same thing with Spirals. It's just that with Nekroz, they literally built to beat Zodiac. Unicorn is a hard card to out. Yes, they can out it. I'm not saying they can't out Unicorn, but it's a hard card to out, and it's so easy for Nekroz to summon it. Plus, with Nekroz, that chances of doing the Jin lock are very high. All you needed was a Manju and a Unicorn, or a Manju and a Kaleidoscope, or a Senju and a Kaleidoscope. It was just really simple to be able to do this play, whereas Zodiac, the only real way they can beat Nekroz like easily is if they draw D-Barrier, and even then with D-Barrier, Nekroz can still stall it out with Valkyrius for a couple of turns before they can get knocked down, so they have a potential to come back, obviously, because Unicorn can just hit the field, and then all the extra deck monsters are zoned out of their effects and basically useless, because Zodiacs are pretty weak, because Unicorn negates Whiptail's effects. Whiptail's effect will transfer over to Dryden, and then Unicorn will negate Dryden's effect, so Dryden will stay weak with my max 100 attack points if Tanky's up, or if Tenki's up. Can't even say Tenki properly. What am I doing today? Anyways, guys, so that's why I think Nekroz are better than Zodiac. They're built to beat Zodiac. Jin lock is easier to pull off than drawing D-Barrier. Yes, they drew quite a few cards off Fusion Sub, but even though they draw quite a few cards, it's still harder for them to draw D-Barrier than for Nekroz to do Jin lock. Plus, sometimes Nekroz don't even need to do Jin lock. A Unicorn with a Gungear will suffice, seriously. A Unicorn and a Gungear will suffice. If Nekroz can manage to pull that out and still have quite a few resources to go off next turn for a Trish play, Nekroz are set. You've seen it in my live not my live duel commentary, in my Nekroz versus full power Zodiac, full power Nekroz versus full power Zodiac. Yes, some people argue, oh, the Zodiac play was bad, but to be honest, I think if I was playing against any other Zodiac player, even some of the top Yu-Gi-Oh players out there, Nekroz would beat it. Nekroz are fundamentally the better deck. They're built to beat Zodiac. And then overall, Nekroz, just to rather sum it up, rather than just talk about why they're better than the previous ones, it's just the consistency. Obviously, they had the Jin lock. They had 3 copies of Preparation of Rites, which gave them amazing recovery. Same thing with the ritual spells. It's like you've never killed Nekroz until the life points has hit 0. Like with other decks, the minute that you lose resources, they're done. Nekroz barely ever lose resources. Now they will lose resources, of course, because of the hit, but because of the effects previously, like when you had free Unicorn, get back the cards you need, the spell cards from the graveyard, you'd always have fodder to banish off of them because you'd use your Valks, your Brios, and then obviously the amazing consistency. When it comes to consistency, I guess you could say maybe Zodiac are more consistent than Nekroz. They're relatively similar, to be honest. When it comes to power, a lot of decks are better, are like same as Nekroz. So the Dinos, even though the Dinos beat me in the full power one, me and Snow agreed that Nekroz and Dinos are relatively equal power. It's kind of like whoever wins the dice roll, whoever goes first, and hopefully if they don't brick, because Nekroz barely ever brick, maybe once every 10 matches. And then for Dinos, they can brick occasionally, but whichever guy goes first, if I manage to set up the Jin lock, if Snow managed to set up the the VFD lock, then it was kind of the win for that deck. So Nekroz do have a lot of decks that have equal power on them, but when it comes to consistency and overall, if they could beat the higher tier decks, like Dinos can beat Nekroz, but Dinos can't beat Zodiac. That's why I'd put Nekroz as number 3 rather than put Dinos in the top 5, because there's decks that Dinos can't beat beat that Nekroz can beat, even though dinos can beat Nekroz, if you kind of get what I'm trying to say there. It doesn't necessarily make dinos better just because they can beat Nekroz, if you guys can understand that. It sounds like I'm a bit salty by losing to Snow now. But I'm probably going to like, hashtag stay salty in the comment section if you've seen that on Yu-Gi-Oh! Yugi Nono's mat. I actually really like that mat. So yeah, hashtag stay salty. I'll probably put it up on the screen somewhere. So yeah, overall Nekroz for third place. I think that's relatively fair. As I said, you could swap it with the spellbooks and it wouldn't really make much difference to me. Right, number 2, we have the one that everybody's expecting, the one that I'm probably going to put in the thumbnail because it's the most known. We have Dragon Rulers. Now, Dragon Rulers, absolutely amazing deck. When it comes to resources, when it comes to high ceiling, when it comes to consistency, when it comes to access to the extra deck, when it comes to power plays, Dragon Rulers are right up there. Super rejuvenation, access to free Vanity's Emptiness, hence why they're kind of better than Nekroz. The baby rulers, the fact that even though they were once per turn, just summoning 2 Draco Sacks, setting a Vanity's Emptiness, that is like the scariest thing. One of the scariest boards you could really put up in Yu-Gi-Oh! Back then. Just super rejuve. Like, Spellbook of Judgment was an amazing card. It had such a high ceiling. That's the same concept with super rejuvenation. Like, you could draw 6, potentially 7 cards, and the kind of thing with it is you draw your cards, you discard the big dragons, and then you keep the hand traps in. Hand traps are another thing that just made the deck amazing. I can go on and on like with all these decks about how good they are. It's really not hard to talk about them, but when it comes to Dragon Rulers, they just had that special thing where they were just so powerful, and nobody underestimated Dragon Rulers. Like, I remember apparently I wasn't present to like see this at all, really. Like, I didn't notice this myself, but when you go on Dueling Book, there was such a high chance if you were playing in the advanced rated section that you'd come against Dragon Rulers, and a lot of people didn't want to play anymore because of Dragon Rulers. So you know a deck's powerful when it makes people not want to even click on that button to go into advanced rated back on Dueling Network, not Dueling Book. So Dragon Rulers number 2, I think they deserve it. Now you're probably thinking, like some of you newer players, some of you older players, if you weren't around for that 1 week, what deck can be better than Dragon Rulers? Well, it only lasted a week or so, but Pepe. We all know how good Pepe are, Performages and Pals, or Performages and Performer Pals, whatever you guys want to call it, or MM in the OCG, like Enter Mate and Enter Mage. I think that's what I meant in the OCG, but Pepe. The boards they set up, Cyber Dragon Infinity, Abyss Dweller, Traptrix Rafflesia, a couple of Solemns face down. Even when it comes to Link format, I've seen a video I might put in the description where how would Pepe look in Link format. They are absolutely broken. They would still be the best deck now, despite relying off the extra deck so heavily. Pepe mirror matches were a pain. Luckily, I never went anywhere near that deck. I was like, look, I'll play Nekroz. Yes, they're broken, but they're fun. When it comes to Pepe, yes, it's fun, but that's just horrible. Like, what you're doing with that deck, that is not Yu-Gi-Oh! That's some next level stuff. Pepe were actually such a good deck. The boards they set up, it was just so scary. And they're obviously, naturally being the pendulum mechanic, the amount of recovery they had because they were the pendulum mechanic, being able to, like, you wipe them out, they activate monkey board, they get another scale, they pendulum summon 5, and there you go, they've got all the resources back. Hence why people hated the pendulum summoning mechanic. But that's really another topic for another video. I could argue on why the pendulum summoning mechanic is no big deal. I've argued it before. A lot of people say, oh, I hate pendulums, they ruin the game. But no, pendulums were okay. Pepe, not so much. I'm just glad that Pepe not last. A lot of people were annoyed that Pepe didn't last more than a week, and that's hence why they were annoyed when Zodiac lasted 8 or so months. But I understand why they hit Pepe. They probably should have done the same thing with Zodiac, but it seems like the past year Konami TCG has got a little bit more greedy with their money. Like, the only reason they hit Spirals right now is because they can hit Spirals because they're not really making any money off of it. Double Helix is an Ultra. The minute I saw that Double Helix was an Ultra, I thought, this deck's getting hit relatively soon. I'm pretty sure this deck's getting hit. If Double Helix was a secret, then maybe not, but it did get hit. It hasn't got hit that much, of course. Like, Spirals will still be in the meta, unarguably, really. Some people will say they won't. I'm pretty sure Spirals will still be in the meta. They just won't be 29 out of 32. Like Pepe, I'm pretty sure Pepe in there, after Bosch fought, when they came out, all the last cards in Bosch, they took up such a high space in the YCS. And Konami actually said themselves that the main reason why they hit Pepe so fast is because there was loads of complaints from the players, and that seems like the kind of thing the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community would do, just bombard Konami with messages saying, we want this deck gone, we want this deck gone. It's happened with Stratos before, like, free my nigga Stratos. I hope that doesn't make the video limited or no ads right now, just by saying that, but yeah, free my ninja Stratos then, okay? We'll use Asianizer's term. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's kind of been a more like chill, relaxed, not really like it's kind of been more like I'm talking to you rather than, okay, here's the video, here's some informative content. But you never came here for informative content, you came here for memes. So remember, hashtag stay salty in the comment section. Snowflake, you better put the hashtag in there, it's related to you. This has been Shurit, peace.